I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your Family and Consumer Science agent. I am back with the fourth installment of our Don't Panic Holiday Low Stress Simple Ideas. So we've been talking about a lot of things for this holiday season that maybe are a little outside of our norm of what we typically do, which is kind of how I think we feel about this holiday season. But one of the things that is pretty consistent across time is we want to help others. And even though we normally want to do that a lot, we really focus on it more at the holidays. It's brought to the front that there are those in need that maybe we could give just a little bit of assistance to. So what are some of the great things that we can do for others this holiday season? And again, I want to think about all of the things we've talked about within this series as things that you could use to help someone else or someone else in need. So let's talk a little bit about what some of the ideas are. Anywhere that you want to give, whether it's to seniors, maybe you want to take some stuff by the assisted living center, or you want to ship things to your military personnel, check with those groups and organizations who handle that and see what is the biggest need right now. What are the things they're asking for? What things are we not allowed to send? I know a lot of us participate in the shoe boxes for Christmas that go out every year all across the world to kiddos, but there's some very specific things you're not allowed to put in those boxes. So it's important to know, whatever group you're working with, what are some of the things that you cannot send, along with what's going to be the best benefit to them. So let's see, we mentioned our military personnel, some of the things that are great to send along to them. Socks are always a big hit. Chapstick and sunblock are things that get requested quite often, but then also think about just card games, things they can play, little simple, maybe even dice games, things that are easy, small, easy to put together and ship that can go out to our military personnel. And then stationery. All of the groups that we're going to talk about right now, stationery is a great thing. So sets of note cards, maybe it's personalized stationery paper that they can write on, pens, pencils, things they can use. Think about all of those great cards that we made in our earlier session, okay? And you can make a whole set of these to give someone to use, whether that's to someone in the military, to someone in the assisted living center, giving out at the senior center, or even the kiddos. So that's one of the things too when we talk about kids that might be in some type of a crisis. Maybe in foster care, maybe they've been removed from their home for some reason. Maybe they're just struggling. Maybe they're part of, we also talk about giving to the homeless. Maybe there's kids out there who at this point in time are homeless as well. So what are some of the things that are great for kiddos? Think about that secondhand shopping we did, cleaning out our stuff to see what we have that would be beneficial to someone else, and then consider what you can offer. So of course, art supplies are a fantastic thing. Some paper, some pencils, crayons, colored pencils, markers, coloring book. Maybe if you don't have a whole coloring book, you can just print off some pages off the computer that they can take in color. Or if you're artistic, maybe you draw your own coloring pages. Stuffed animals, clean like new, need to be in good shape, but something comforting that they can have to take with them. Again, they don't have to be huge. They can be smaller size. Things they can read for different ages. Picture books. Again, this one, the animal goes along with the actual book. So what a great fun gift. And maybe for a kiddo who just needs that comfort of a character that they know well. Things like puzzle books that can go, again, we see this for maybe your older kiddos, for your teens, for any adult, your seniors that might want to use this. Now I find a lot, you come across these and you look and it's like, oh, part of the pages are done. So depending on how many that is, you might remove some pages, or you might just take this book apart. And then you have a leaflet, or you have several pages that you can divide up amongst several gifts. And you can still utilize the puzzles that are in here for someone. Another great gift, or if you're looking to make donations, when you want to give things away, if you have tote bags, duffel bags, old luggage, suitcases, things just lying around that are still in decent shape, that's a fantastic thing to give. You see, this is just a plain old tote bag, okay, that we picked up somewhere along the way, but to a child who doesn't have another way to carry around their belongings can really mean a lot. and be something deeply personal to them. So consider that when you're thinking about what types of things to donate or to give. Okay, and I mentioned, of course, for homeless, gloves, hand warmers, all of your basic toiletry items. If you've not seen blessing bags in the past, the types of things that they include in there, that's a wonderful thing that I would suggest looking into, and then finding out what organizations might take those for you so that they can distribute them around the county or your area, wherever you would like for those to go. And so finally, let's talk a little more in depth about some things for our seniors. It's always nice, again, stationery, artwork that the kids have done or something you've put together that's personal that they can take with them and do. But the next step is there's a lot of things they need that are just the basic necessities that we don't even think about passing along. So some of those things like lotion, again, sunscreen, lip balm, shampoo, conditioner, soap, a lot of things that are not typically provided with state funding to most facilities. So if they don't have family members providing those items for them, they're just being left out, okay? Kleenex, I had no idea, but a lot of groups and organizations, Kleenex is not a typical thing that's provided to them. So it can be an excellent thing to give when you're wanting to put your money to the best value. So what I suggest when you're giving any of these types of items is wrap it, and wrap it fun and wrap it cute. Gift bags are fantastic. They're a great way to put things together, make them pretty, put the stuff in it. This is a plain white one. You could decorate it just like we decorated our cards and dress it up to make it personal. But no matter what age we are, we still like ripping into the paper. So think, again, about some fun, different ways that you might be able to wrap something and make it pretty simple. Now, a Kleenex box should be easy to wrap, right? It's pretty much square, flat side, easy to do. But we can also fancy it up just a little. So what I'm gonna do, instead of flattening it out completely, I'm gonna curl my paper up to the top. Then leave this paper sticking out. So it's a little prettier, doesn't look just like a box of Kleenex. Now, it can be kind of hard for some of us to grab this and get it tight enough if we're trying to tape it or even tie it with ribbon. So again, you've all seen, I always have pipe cleaners laying around from some kind of craft project. This can be a great way to add to a gift, to dress it up, make it a little different, and simpler for you to just tie that off so that it's all together. And so for this, we didn't even have to use tape, okay? Then you can also always take your pipe cleaners and fashion bows, loops, whatever kind of cutesy thing you want to do with it. Add that on there to just give it a little bit of a flair. This one's not real fancy because we're just trying to do it kind of quick so you get the gist of what your options might be to put that together with the pipe cleaner. Okay, the other thing I like to do, everyone loves candy, so making something look like a piece of candy is always fun. That piece is way too small. Let's see. So for instance, with a bottle of lotion, normally, again, you probably wouldn't wrap that, but if it's something you want to give, someone who's going to need it, they're going to take it and use it, roll it up in your paper, and then we're going to tie off the two ends to make our piece of candy. Kind of looks like a popper, right? I like one way to dress up packages when you do it, instead of using just traditional Christmas ribbon, the stringy kind, is take actual fabric ribbon. Again, leftover things that you have in your stash are perfect for this. And add a little decoration by using that fabric ribbon, and it just gives you that extra little bit of pop on that package. Okay, so cute, fun things we can do for wrapping. Okay, another thing that you're going to see requested, I mentioned socks. Socks are a huge thing no matter what group you're giving to. Everybody needs socks and they need more of them. So of course, if someone's living in the nursing home with assisted living, the floors are slick. A lot of times they're not always wearing shoes. They might be, because nice slippers are an excellent gift as well with a good skid-proof bottom. Slipper socks are an excellent gift. Sometimes they may be harder to come across in certain years. One of the things you can do is you can make your own slipper socks. So I've taken just basic fluffy socks, okay, very inexpensive, just the cheapest ones you can pick up. This is actual puff paint for fabric, okay, that you can just pick up at the craft store. Most of your just general box stores are gonna have that on hand. So that's something that you wanna think about. I have mine sitting on a tray. I typically do that a lot of times for y'all just because it makes it easier moving things and doing stuff in the video. I do recommend with these that you put them on something where you'll be able to pick them up and move them, because it does take a while for them to dry, and you want to make sure they get dry and get dry all the way through. So a suggestion, this is a piece of a paper towel roll. I cut it in half, one for each sock. You're going to want to take that and just insert it in the sock. If you don't have one, you can use a magazine, a piece of cardboard, whatever you have on hand. Doesn't want to go. Because you're going to need something to keep your sock separated so that when you put the paint on, it doesn't seal shut. Okay, so get it in there where you want to put your stuff so you can have it laid out. Okay, just like that. And you can see I've taken the black paint that is puffy and it's going to dry kind of rubbery, and just made a design on the bottom of the sock. Like I said, they do take a while to dry. I have done these with kids before, especially if you're doing a big group. You want to make sure you have a place to leave them and let them set, because they're not going to be able to just grab them up in an hour and take them home. But it is an excellent thing. You can talk about the importance of keeping your feet warm. You can talk about all the different types of service that they can apply to, and get your socks made and put together. And you have a gift that you can give to a friend, a loved one, or like I said, to pass on for someone in need who needs something special. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service. Thank you for joining us for our holiday series this year. There's more suggestions and tips out there. We've done video series for the last about year and a half. So check out our YouTube channel, see what we've got to offer. If you're interested in receiving our newsletter, curryextension.nmsu.edu, click on Family Health and Wellness Request Newsletter to request that by email or hard copy in the mail. Again, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful, blessed holiday season.